Chosen one, listen carefully, because what you are about to hear is not a message meant for everyone. This is not general encouragement, and it is not spiritual entertainment. This message carries weight, and it reaches only those whose spirit is already aligned with God's divine path. If you have felt the pull, the pressure, the separation, and the quiet inner knowing that something about your life is different, then understand this clearly: you are here because heaven allowed it. This moment is not accidental. This message reached you at the exact time it was meant to, neither early nor late, but precisely on time. From the moment God places His hand on a life, that life becomes visible in the spiritual realm. Purpose cannot hide. Light cannot remain unnoticed. And because of that, heaven has issued a command concerning you. Not out of fear, not out of emergency, but out of order. 9 angels have been assigned to protect you, not only from physical harm, but from unseen eyes, hidden intentions, jealousy, spiritual interference, and pressures you were never meant to confront alone. You have been covered in ways you cannot yet fully explain, but you have felt the effects. You may have sensed it as a shift. A quiet change in how deeply things affect you. Words that once pierced now pass by. Situations that should have broken you only slowed you down. Pressure still exists, but it no longer owns you. That is not coincidence. That is divine protection working beneath the surface. Heaven does not always announce its involvement. Often, it moves silently so your focus remains on growth, not survival. Being watched does not mean you are exposed. It means you are significant. Many chosen ones misunderstand spiritual attention and interpret it as danger, creating unnecessary fear and anxiety. But heaven never marks a life and then abandons it. When attention increases, protection is reinforced. God does not react, He assigns. And when heaven assigns protection, it does so with precision and intention. Stay with this message until the end, because what is being revealed will bring clarity to confusion you have carried quietly. It will restore peace where your mind has felt crowded. It will help you understand why your life has felt heavier, quieter, and more isolated than you expected. You were not being punished. You were being preserved. Take a breath right now. Release the tension you may not have realized you were holding. You are not being hunted. You are being guarded. Heaven has already stepped in ahead of what you could see, ahead of what you could understand. And as this message unfolds, you will begin to see clearly why this protection was necessary, why it arrived now, and what it means for where your life is going next. Chosen one, let me speak to you calmly and without fear, because misunderstanding this truth has caused many unnecessary battles in the minds of those who are called. You are watched not because you are weak, and not because you are failing. You are watched because you are marked. The moment God places purpose on a life, that life becomes visible in realms most people never consider. Light does not need to announce itself to be noticed. Purpose carries its own signal. And that signal draws attention. From early on, you likely felt different before you could explain why. People reacted to you in ways that felt unearned, some drawn to you, others uncomfortable around you for reasons they could not name. Admiration appeared quietly. Resentment surfaced unexpectedly. You may have felt observed, studied, or evaluated without invitation. That was not my imagination. That was confirmation. When God separates someone, the spiritual atmosphere around them changes, and others sense it before they understand it. However, being watched does not equal being vulnerable. This is where many chosen ones misinterpret spiritual visibility. Attention is not exposure. Observation is not accessible. The enemy would like you to believe that because eyes are on you, you are in danger. But heaven does not operate that way. God never allows awareness without authority, and He never allows authority without covering. If you are visible, it is because you are already protected. Heaven intervened not because something went wrong, but because something went right. Your awareness deepened. Your obedience strengthened quietly. Your inner alignment increased even when your outer life felt uncertain. And as your spiritual weight increased, the attention around your life shifted from casual to focused. That shift required order. In the spiritual realm, increased weight always calls for increased structure. So heaven responded, not with panic, but with precision. You may have felt this intervention as pressure before you recognized it as protection. Moments of unexplained mental fatigue. Emotional heaviness without a clear source. A sense of being crowded internally. This was not weakness. This was your soul processing levels of attention it had never carried before. Chosen ones are often watched long before they are understood, and that watching can feel unsettling until clarity arrives. Some of the eyes on you come from jealousy. Some come from confusion. Some come from curiosity. And yes, some are not human at all. But here is the truth that should settle your spirit: heaven never allows watching to turn into influence. Observation has limits. Attention has boundaries. And those boundaries are enforced by divine order. Heaven intervened because your life entered a phase of transition. When God moves someone from preparation into positioning, visibility increases. That is not danger, it is advancement. And advancement always comes with reinforcement. You were not being exposed. You were being secured. The watching did not escalate because you were fragile. It escalated because you were becoming significant. And heaven responded accordingly. Chosen one, now that you understand why you are watched, it is important to understand how this watching operates. Spiritual attention does not always announce itself loudly. It is rarely dramatic. Most of the time, it is subtle, quiet, and persistent. This is why it can feel unsettling without being obvious. You may sense it as pressure rather than threat, awareness rather than fear. And without understanding, that sensation can be misinterpreted. Light attracts attention simply by existing. Purpose creates disturbance without trying. When God's presence increases around a life, the spiritual atmosphere shifts, and that shift is noticed by forces, patterns, and people that are sensitive to change. This is why attention began before you ever stepped into confidence. You were watched long before you were ready to be understood. Spiritual attention often precedes visible fruit. This watching comes in layers. Sometimes it manifests through people, quiet observation, envy masked as curiosity, misunderstanding disguised as concern. People may study your behavior, your silence, your decisions, trying to categorize you so they can feel comfortable around you. When they cannot explain you, tension forms. That tension is not about you personally, it is about what your presence awakens in them. But not all watching is human. There are unseen forms of observation rooted in insecurity, unresolved darkness, and misplaced curiosity. These are not always attacks. Often, they are assessments, measuring, probing, attempting to understand your spiritual weight. And here is where fear tries to enter. Many chosen ones assume that unseen attention means vulnerability. That assumption creates anxiety, mental strain, and hypervigilance. Heaven corrects this misunderstanding with one clear truth: observation does not equal permission. Just because something can see you does not mean it can reach you. Watching does not grant access. Awareness does not equal authority. Heaven sets boundaries long before threats appear. That is why many things aimed toward you never fully formed. They dissolved at the level of intention. You may recall moments where pressure increased but no clear conflict followed. You felt drained, watched, or uneasy, yet nothing actually happened. That was not imagination. That was containment. Heaven was limiting access while allowing awareness to exist. This is a critical distinction. Chosen ones are allowed to be seen, but they are not allowed to be invaded. Another reason spiritual attention feels heavy is because your capacity is increasing. When spiritual weight increases, the nervous system must adjust. Your soul is learning how to carry awareness without panic, discernment without paranoia, and attention without fear. This adjustment period can feel exhausting. But exhaustion does not mean exposure. It means adaptation. Understand this deeply: heaven never allows attention to exceed protection. When the watching intensified, it triggered reinforcement, not vulnerability. That reinforcement is not meant to isolate you in fear, but to stabilize you in confidence. You are learning to stand calmly under attention without shrinking or reacting. And that calm is evidence that protection is already in place. Chosen one, it is important for you to understand how heaven responds when attention increases around a life that carries purpose. Heaven does not react emotionally. It does not panic, rush, or improvise. Heaven operates through order. When something shifts in your spiritual position, heaven adjusts structure around you long before you become aware of the reason. What feels sudden to you has often been arranged quietly in advance. When the watching intensified, heaven did not wait for danger to appear. Protection was not activated because something attacked you, it was established because something was forming. In the spiritual realm, preparation always precedes manifestation. That is why many situations that should have escalated in your life never did. Conversations stopped before becoming confrontations. Plans dissolved before turning into harm. Opportunities that felt threatening quietly passed you by. This was not luck. This was divine order intercepting outcomes. You may have noticed that instead of dramatic conflict, you experienced fatigue. Instead of collapse, you experienced delay. Instead of destruction, you experienced redirection. That pattern is intentional. Heaven often neutralizes threats by removing their momentum rather than confronting them openly. The absence of chaos is often the clearest sign of protection. If heaven had allowed exposure, your life would reflect crisis. Instead, it reflects pressure without devastation. This is because angels are assigned before awareness arrives. Protection is not reactive, it is positional. Heaven places guards along timing, decisions, thoughts, and boundaries. Some angels intercept external influence. Others regulate internal clarity. Some shield your discernment so confusion cannot take root. Others guard transitions so you do not move too early or stay too long. This layered structure is why you felt guided even when you felt unsure. Many chosen ones struggle here because they expect protection to feel dramatic. They look for visible signs, sudden breakthroughs, or obvious rescues. But divine order is often quiet. It works through restraint rather than force. It limits damage by limiting access. It weakens interference by strengthening discernment. Heaven's response is not loud because it does not need to announce authority. You were not spared from pressure because pressure develops strength. You were spared from destruction because destruction would have interrupted purpose. Heaven allowed the weight but removed the threat. That is why you are tired but still standing. That is why you are aware but not broken. That is why you sensed opposition without experiencing defeat. Understand this clearly: when heaven steps in, it does not always change circumstances, it changes outcomes. The watching did not disappear, but its power did. Attention remained, but influence was removed. You were allowed to be seen, but not touched. That is divine order at work. Heaven's response proves something important about your life: you are not in danger, you are in transition. And transitions are always protected. Chosen one, the assignment of 9 angels is not symbolic, random, or exaggerated. Heaven does nothing without intention. Numbers in divine order carry function before they carry meaning. The number 9 represents completion, readiness, and transition into a higher phase. It appears when a cycle is closing and a new level of responsibility is approaching. This is why the reinforcement around your life intensified now, not earlier and not later. These angels were not assigned to create comfort. They were assigned to create structure. Divine protection is not about removing all discomfort, it is about preserving alignment. Each layer of protection addresses a different dimension of your life. Some guard your mind, preventing intrusive confusion from taking root. Some regulate timing, ensuring you do not act prematurely under pressure. Others secure boundaries, filtering who and what is allowed access to your energy. Together, they form a system, not a single shield. Heaven understands something you are still learning: the greatest threats to purpose rarely arrive as obvious attacks. They come as subtle distortions: self-doubt, urgency, emotional entanglement, and misalignment. That is why angels are assigned to protect clarity more than circumstances. When clarity is guarded, decisions remain aligned. When decisions remain aligned, outcomes remain intact. You may have noticed that certain temptations lost their pull. Certain relationships became draining instead of exciting. Certain paths that once seemed promising now feel heavy or closed. This is not loss. This is filtration. Divine order removes what would dilute your focus before it can damage your direction. The angels assigned to you enforce this filtration quietly, without explanation, often without your awareness. The number 9 also reflects completion of preparation. You are no longer being shaped only through instruction, you are being stabilized through responsibility. Protection increases when accountability increases. Heaven does not elevate someone and then hope they survive. It reinforces them so they can carry what comes next without compromise. Another important truth: angels do not replace your free will. They support it. They do not force decisions, they create space for wise ones. They do not block all discomfort, they prevent derailment. This is why you still feel tension, but not confusion. Pressure, but not collapse. Awareness, but not panic. Divine order is not chaos control, it is alignment maintenance. The presence of 9 angels around your life means heaven has assessed your capacity and confirmed your readiness for transition. You are being guarded not because you are fragile, but because you are valuable. Not because you are failing, but because you are advancing. This level of protection signals something clear: your life is moving into a phase where precision matters. And heaven has ensured that nothing unnecessary interferes with what is being completed and what is about to begin. Chosen one, the most dangerous threats to purpose are rarely visible. What damages alignment most often does not arrive as open conflict, but as quiet influence. This is why heaven's protection around you is focused not only on what approaches openly, but on what moves in secret. You are being guarded from conversations you never heard, intentions never spoken aloud, and plans that never reached the surface. Much of this protection operates beyond your awareness. Heaven filters outcomes at the level of thought and intention before action ever forms. You may wonder why certain opportunities vanished without explanation, why certain people drifted away without confrontation, or why situations dissolved before you could even respond. This was not loss or rejection. This was prevention. Some paths were closed not because they were evil, but because they were misaligned with your timing or capacity. You are also protected from internal threats, those that feel like your own thoughts but do not originate from your true identity. Overthinking, self-doubt, and emotional exhaustion are often attempts to create confusion where clarity already exists. Heaven's protection shields your discernment so these thoughts do not become beliefs. You may feel mental noise, but it does not settle. You may feel heaviness, but it does not define you. That is protection at work. Another unseen threat is emotional entanglement. Chosen ones often carry depth that draws people who want access, not connection. Heaven guards you from relationships that would drain you slowly rather than harm you quickly. This is why some connections felt intense at first and then abruptly faded. The angels assigned to you protect your emotional energy so it remains available for purpose, not consumption. Timing is also being guarded. Acting too early can be just as damaging as acting too late. You may feel ready while heaven knows you need stabilization. You may feel delayed while heaven knows you are being positioned. This is why impatience has been neutralized in your spirit. You still desire movement, but reckless urgency has been removed. That is not stagnation. That is wisdom being enforced. You are even protected from your own tendencies to overextend, overexplain, and overgive. Chosen ones often believe they must earn peace through effort. Heaven interrupts this pattern by limiting access to your energy. Boundaries are forming naturally. Silence feels safer than explanation. Solitude feels restorative rather than lonely. This is not withdrawal, it is preservation. Protection from what they cannot see means you are being guarded at levels that cannot be attacked directly. Outcomes are being shaped before opposition can engage. Influence is being restricted before pressure can accumulate. You are not merely surviving unseen threats, you are being kept out of their reach entirely. This is why your life feels quieter, more contained, and more intentional. Heaven is not hiding you out of fear. It is refining you out of purpose. And everything you are being protected from now would have cost you clarity later. Chosen one, isolation is one of the most misunderstood forms of divine protection. Many assume that being alone means being forgotten, rejected, or delayed. But for those who carry purpose, isolation is often strategic. Heaven separates before it positions. It quiets the noise before it clarifies direction. And it limits access before it increases responsibility. You may have noticed that your circle grew smaller without conflict. Conversations became surface level. Certain people could no longer follow your thought process, your silence, or your growth. This was not arrogance on your part, nor was it failure in connection. It was alignment shifting. When your inner world expands, environments that cannot support that expansion begin to feel restrictive. The heaviness you felt was not punishment, it was compression. Before something strengthens, it is often placed under pressure. Your soul has been learning how to carry awareness, restraint, and patience simultaneously. That weight can feel lonely because very few people understand it. But solitude has trained your discernment. It has taught you to hear God's guidance without external confirmation. Misunderstanding also plays a protective role. If everyone understood you clearly, access would increase. Expectations would multiply. Control would attempt to attach. Heaven allows misunderstanding so manipulation cannot form. When people cannot categorize you, they cannot manage you. This preserves your freedom to move according to divine timing rather than human pressure. Isolation has also revealed truth. In silence, you discovered which desires were genuine and which were borrowed. Which fears were external and which required healing. You learned to sit with discomfort without escaping it. That discipline is rare, and it is necessary for what comes next. Heaven does not elevate those who cannot remain grounded when unseen. You may have questioned yourself during this period. Wondered if you were doing something wrong. Felt moments of self-doubt or emotional fatigue. That does not disqualify you. It proves you are human while being called. Strength is not the absence of questions, it is the willingness to remain aligned despite them. Understand this clearly, you were not isolated to weaken you. You were isolated to stabilize you. When the noise returns, you will not be shaken by it. When attention increases again, you will not crave it or fear it. You will be anchored. This season of heaviness and misunderstanding is closing. What it produced cannot be undone. You now carry clarity that does not depend on validation, peace that does not require explanation, and strength that does not announce itself. Heaven allowed isolation so you could become unmovable. And now, you are ready for connection that does not drain, purpose that does not overwhelm, and visibility that does not threaten your peace. Chosen one, as this message comes to a close, allows this truth to settle deeply within you: you have never been alone, and you have never been unprotected. Even in moments where silence felt heavy and answers felt distant, heaven was active on your behalf. What appeared as a delay was alignment. What felt like isolation was preservation. What seemed unclear was being ordered beyond your sight. You were never asked to fight battles you could not win. You were asked to remain aligned while heaven handled what you could not see. That is why you are still standing. That is why the pressure did not break you. That is why confusion never fully took hold. Protection surrounded you before you understood you needed it. Now is not the time to fear attention or question your path. It is the time to stand still with confidence. Stillness is not weakness, it is trust. When you stop striving to control outcomes, you create space for divine order to complete its work. Heaven has already secured what matters most. Release the need to explain yourself. Release the urge to rush. Release the weight of proving your worth. What is meant for you is already moving toward you under protection you do not need to manage. Your responsibility is alignment, not defense. Carry this peace forward. Let it steady your decisions and quiet your mind. You are guarded, guided, and positioned with intention. And as you step into what comes next, you do not step alone. Heaven walks ahead of you, and nothing assigned to disrupt your purpose will succeed. As you move forward from this moment, do not underestimate the power of calm obedience. You do not need dramatic action to prove faith. Sometimes the greatest expression of trust is consistency, showing up each day with a steady heart, clear boundaries, and a willingness to listen more than react. Heaven is not rushing you because what is being built must last. You may still encounter moments of doubt, but doubt no longer defines your direction. You now carry discernment that allows you to pause instead of panic, to observe instead of absorb. That is maturity. That is evidence that the season of preparation has produced real strength within you. Remember this: protection does not mean absence of challenge, it means presence of guidance. Even when you cannot see the next step clearly, you will feel when it is time to move. Doors that matter will open without force. Connections meant for you will arrive without confusion. What is not aligned will continue to fall away without effort. Walk gently with yourself. Honor how far you have come. The silence, the pressure, the waiting, all of it shaped you for what lies ahead. And as new chapters begin to unfold, you will recognize that this season was not something you survived, but something that positioned you exactly where you need to be.